Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about fresh release from Miniart. It's an interior kit in 1/35 scale which copies Austin 1918 pattern, but we have a Japanese service car, and it will be interesting to see what is actually different in this package and why it might be interesting build for all 1/35 scale fans. So we have a commercial sample here, it means that's the final form of this kit, and as you can see it has this quite unusual box art in a vertical layout, and it's really beautiful here, and kit number is 39019. So let's open this box and check what is inside. So first of all, here you can see comparison with my hand. It's a typical box size for Miniart. Here on the side we have some safety advices and address of the manufacturer, as well as barcode and QR code, and on the other side you'll find five marking options, which are painted in a quite unusual colors because these are Japanese cars, and that's actually the main selling point, if we can say so, of this kit, because it offers really unusual marking options which are rarely seen on Austin armored car. So that's a top opening box. And as you can see, all frames are packed into the same plastic bag. Here is assembly manual on the bottom, so we are going to open first this plastic bag, check what is inside, and then gradually we will move on to other things. So just give me a second to cut through this plastic bag. In the meantime, let me remind you that you can support us financially. We have a special support or donate button on our website. It's available on desktop version, or in case you would like to do it quicker, we have a direct link to the PayPal gate in the video description below, so you can just click it and choose the amount you would like to send us, and all this money proceeds will be used in order to improve photo and video quality, or maybe get new kits to be reviewed on our YouTube channel. So first we are going to start with a small envelope which packs tiny PE thread. As you can see, it's unpainted PE thread, so we should zoom in as much as we can. And here we have all necessary parts for internal and external features. And yes, we have also internal features because this is an interior kit, and that's why you will have to be careful with some small parts. It might be a bit tricky to apply them, so it's better to have some sharp tweezers in order to get them into the right spot. Definitely don't try to do this with bare fingers, as some modelers try to do. Next, we continue with a separate plastic bag, and it features really tiny decal sheet. So here it is. I guess, oops. As you can see, it's so tiny that it's barely lies on the fingers. So now let's try to focus the camera. Nope. Yes, now you should be able to see that here we have decals from Decograph. Printing quality is really nice, so it's just a matter of careful application on your model and you'll be good to go. But again, it will depend on the marking option as far as I can understand. And here we have clear parts, so everything looks fine, but there are no masks included, no masking templates whatsoever. So you will have to cover them with your own tools and means. Now I'm opening another plastic bag. That's actually the biggest plastic bag where we have all the parts, so just give me a second. And we are going to start with the biggest gray plastic frame, which carries various body parts or hull parts. And first I suggest we zoom out so that we can take a whole picture of this frame. So here you can see these panels. And again, I remind you that we have interior kit, that's why we have some internal elements, for example here a floor. So we can zoom in again and take a closer look at all these parts. So molding quality seems to be fine, and all parts are molded in a very clean quality. As you can see, there are no flash or any other molding damage, and attachment points are thin enough in order to carefully separate all this stuff, so it's just a matter of careful assembly and you will be good to go. And all possible hatches are openable. I would say the biggest share of the hatches, because there are some cases where we have hatches molded shut, but it is done in order to achieve some rigidity in overall structure. And here you can take a look at the opposite side, because for example here we have rivets inside as well. Here we have some wooden texture, and again, in my opinion, it's more than enough for out of the box build, so it's just a matter of careful assembly and you will be good to go. Next we continue with two plastic sprues. As you can see, they're connected in a quite strange style, so we are going to start with this ones. Again, here you can see the perfect Here you can see a perfect example of this separate door. It can be opened on your vehicle. And on the next sprue we have some parts for the turrets. So again, they look quite nice. We have rivets, and here you can check them from the opposite side. And here is the internal view of the doors for the main hull. And as you can see, we have some features inside as well. That's really cool because it would be strange to have plain panels in an interior kit, and some models might still do this, so do not be surprised that I'm mentioning this. Next we continue with two identical plastic frames, so I will show them in a second. Here they are, and let's check only one because there is no need to take a look at the same stuff again and again, so we can zoom in as much as we can. Here we have wheel fenders, also we have rivets for the main hull. You will have to separate all these minor dots and glue them into your vehicle. It might be a bit tedious process, so be ready for that. We also have some metal seats for the turrets, and again a lot of small parts. They're really tiny, so do not underestimate these elements. Better use tweezers because otherwise it will be quite a funny time trying to find them. Note that wheel fenders, they're also detailed inside as well, so that's also quite an important feature. Maybe it will be handy in your project, who knows. Next we continue with small panels for stowage boxes. And again, everything looks nice, but note that one part broke off due to the packaging. It's easy to fix, but you can see it with your own eyes and there is no point in hiding it. Next we have two more plastic sprues because we have two turrets on this vehicle, so that's why it will be possible to show it from the both sides simultaneously. Here you can see parts for machine guns. So machine guns, as usual for Miniart, they're really detailed, and it's just a matter of careful painting and you'll have a really good copy of the machine gun in 1/35 scale, and that's a standard plastic kit details which you get, let's say, without paying extra, so that's really cool thing to have. Next we continue with something I'm trying to understand now. So I guess the main wheel tires, they're molded out of plastic and they're molded as a single piece part, so here you can see them. I'll place more here so we can zoom in, and here you can take a look. But the main thing is that they're not just a simple plastic part, so maybe camera will focus. Yes, now you should be able to see that here we have some features on the tire walls on both sides. So that's definitely a better thing to have than a typical vinyl offering, and of course it will look natural on the finished vehicle, so definitely spend some time trying to paint and weather properly these parts because it will only benefit your vehicle. And as for the wheel rims, they're supplied on separate sprues, so here they are. You can see them from both sides because there's similar plastic frames, and it's just a matter of combining these parts with the plastic tires and you will be good to go. Okay. Next we have interconnection between several sprues. So here we will have to zoom out first so that you can understand what I'm talking about. Here we have these sprues. We have tires for spare wheels, wheel fenders, various hull panels, also some minor elements for interior. But again, we can zoom in now and check all this stuff closer. So here are these parts. Again, wheel tires look really good, and these thin parts, they will make a difference, so do not be lazy, apply them all. I know some models, let's say, skip on these parts because they're still inside, they're not visible, but they can be visible in case you plan to open the hatches, so definitely think through the assembly process. And here we have some hull panels, stowage boxes. Again, everything looks really good, and I think it will be easy to combine these parts because there are some guiding elements inside which will help you with alignment. And the last gray plastic sprue is dedicated to more of the drivetrain parts. As you can see, we have chassis bars, we have also some suspension parts, as well as, for example, here we have headlamps and leaf springs, engine parts. So yes, engine is included, and this is interior kit, so it would be strange not to have the engine here. And here you can take a look at these parts closer. So all parts look really clean, even the thinnest out of them, but as you can see, thin parts traditionally have a lot of attachment points, so be careful while separating them. Maybe use some plastic saw in order to really carefully separate it off the frame without damaging the thin part. But the engine looks fine out of the box, so it's just a matter of applying maybe some wiring to this engine and you'll be, let's say, dealing with a really good copy of the power plant in your Austin. But it's up to you. Maybe you would like to hide it under the bonnet, then definitely there is no use in doing some excessive weathering and painting. So here we continue with the assembly manual. This one is printed in a typical format, so it's a large brochure with short list of the features. Here we start straight away with two marking options. So this one comes from Imperial Japanese Army 1919. This one is from Vladivostok 1920. Here we continue with one more from 1920. And as you can see, these camouflages are different from what we are used to see on Austin cars, so that's really interesting choice. Here we continue with the parts map, where Miniart does not show unused parts, so be careful and use the right ones so that you will have the proper version of your vehicle. Again, parts map, and we start assembling the main chassis. As you can see, it's a matter of combining a lot of bars together. Here we work on the engine, so I can see that there are also some additional items for experienced modelers. They show you how to copy the wiring on the engine, which might be a good idea, as I said before, if you plan to open the cooling on your model. Here we install engine and gearbox on the chassis. Next we continue with the radiator grille and also with various control elements. It means pedals and the brake lever. Here we continue with, again, some thin parts. They can be replaced with the metal wire, as you can see. Manufacturer shows this, so it's up to you whether you would like to deal with thin plastic parts or you would like to completely replace them with a plastic part, actually with metal wire, which would look a bit more natural. Here we continue with wheel axles in front and rear. We install wheel fenders. Next we install road wheels, so as you can see, rear ones are double. And frankly speaking, I did not remember this thing. Here we continue with the klaxon, then we have a dashboard, then we install the floor for the turrets, and there are also two assembly options in case you would like to build an open or closed cowling, which is really handy. So manufacturer gives you this possibility out of the box. Next, you have to install these rivets, as you can see here, so they will be installed one by one. And again, I'm repeating that it might be a really tedious procedure, but your model will benefit from this, so definitely consider doing this. Next, we continue with armor panels being combined into one shell. So as you can see, it gets assembled separately from the chassis, and then you get to decide which of the hatches and doors you will be opening on your vehicle. All this done on the, let's say, separate shell from chassis, as I said before. And as you can see, then it gets combined together with the chassis. So definitely keep track of the alignment between these parts. Next, we continue with, so here again we have two options for the open or closed variants, but here we already have shell installed on the chassis. Next we continue with the stowage boxes and various external bits for suspension. A lot of P parts from what I can see, so be careful with them, especially in painting and proper installation. Here we assemble the machine gun in both turrets, install it, and note that turrets can be also depicted in open or closed position, which is quite handy in case you have some figures to place inside, or maybe you would like to show what is inside in this vehicle. So all in all, we have 76 steps, colors chart, another marking option from 1920s. Here we have one more from China, 1930s, and different version of this kit, which we will review in the separate video review, and here we have two more. So as for today's kit, it should be already available. You can get it on Modelimex webshop, for example, and in my opinion, it's a really good version of the famous armored vehicle in 1/35 scale. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about this release. Write it here in the comment section below. If you like this video, do not forget to press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye!